Hello, everyone. It's wonderful to see you up here on this virtual community, and I wish soon we will be able to see each other. The good part of this virtual world is that in the morning I was taking the meeting something about 70 miles away from where I am right now. And in between those 1.5 hours, 2 hours, I was able to travel to some other place with my kids. And now my kids are seeing this museum back and I'm taking this meeting. So thank you to the virtual world. that's that's part of the thing. All right. So I do have a couple of updates to update you, and a very sort of a colloquial discussions about what we did in the past. Since 2019, I was given the responsibility of the commission, uh, and then I would share what is I do have next. So uh, if someone has any question, please feel free to uh, put those questions in the chat or direct me directly at the end. We started, I started in 2019 Prague PQ. And then in the 2019, 2000, end of the 2019 and 20 January, we have Lux Helsinki. In collaboration with the Swedish partners and the Helsinki partners. A 15, I think about a 4 days Lux Helsinki in collaboration as a coincides of the Lux Helsinki lighting event. So that was our first event in terms of the commission. With the paper presentations, tour to the Swedish Opera House and National Theatre, and a wonderful overnight boat ride from Helsinki to Stockholm. Then hit the pandemic in 2020. 20 March, and we were hoping to go to a couple of places, plan a couple of meetings, but kind of that been put on to hold. So the next event that Lighting Design Commission hit was Designers on Design webinar series with 25 sessions in a row, inviting not only lighting designer, but designer from every stream of theater design, or, design in theater. So lighting design, costume designers, space designers, scenographers, everyone whosoever. And that Designers on Design series becomes something, a topic of discussions. And I got really good feedback and good review about this series. And then this series was taken into the USITT, USITT 2021. And as part of the, I think, World Stage Design discussions, we also celebrated that. So that was our second adventure. Our third, you might hear some background noise, so I'm sorry, I'm in a public place. Please excuse me. Our next adventure was our SENA, and Lighting Design Commission presented 2 sessions into the SENA. One was the 25th session of the Designers of Design series, where I invited the presenters in this series to come on a roundtable discussion. And then the another was selected episodes from the Designers on Design series. And I saw that there are at least 3 of those episodes now being put into World Congress. So thank you, Oysted, for bringing 3 or 4 of those sessions. So these were our past, so far, events, what we have done. Now I would like to share a small presentation And let me see where I can have that. Screen. Podcast, start podcast. Okay, so presentation. Can anyone give me a head out?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So what is going on right now? Working on right now. The Lighting Design Subcommission is working on Designers on Design Season 2. The Designers on Design Season 2 is focused on designers of color. And the presenters, I am making a list of the final presenters, but so please feel free to, if you identify with designer of color or anyone who knows, please be remember that Designers on Design series is not only restricted to one design domain, it's basically allowing everyone to come into this series, though this is basically run by the Lighting Design Commission, but it's open for every design stream. So that's our first, that's our ongoing thing, and we should be able to give you some date when we will launch the second season pretty soon. Our second project in pipeline is Lighting Design Technical Podcast. That Lighting Design Commission, Subcommission is working with the Harvard University, and we are working on basically the structure of the podcast. In 2022, you will be able to hear, early in 2022, you will be able to hear our first podcast in this series. So please feel free. The podcast series is specifically intended for the people in backstage who solves technical problems. So in costume, let's say it could be a craftsman. In lighting, it could be a master electrician or anyone who solved problem. And the podcast series is basically sharing those personal moment where a technical person solved a problem with its indigenous way of thinking or solving it. So the overall idea that when problems comes, how does our backbone, which is our technical staffs, they come up with their own original ideas and solve things. Next is our World Stage Design 2000. That's I by mistake and put that 2020, but that's 22. So World Stage Design 2022. And Lighting Design Commission has proposed a number of projects in World Stage Design, including master workshops, line and plots, basically discussing about lighting plots, and then a number of other workshops on color, on LED mixing. So these are the projects which we proposed. We will definitely look for what World Stage Design come up with their final sorts of thought or decision on those. And then we do have our Lighting Design Commission meeting into World Stage Design next year in Calgary. And then comes the PQ 2023. Our proposals are open for that. So I would invite, suggest, and in fact request everyone who think that there is innovative ideas someone has to come up with the possibilities what the commission can do at the PQ, and then I can propose those ideas from the commission to the Prague Quadrennial or submit those ideas to the Prague Quadrennial, and then we will have our meeting into the Prague Quadrennial. So these are the project what right now we are working on. We want to basically reach to a decision on all of these projects by the end of this year. So LD Technical Podcast that's working on, please do suggest people who can, technical people and who have stories to share. World Stage Design, World Stage 2022, we are waiting for the decisions, and PQ, we are open for the proposals. Our future, what we look forward in 2022. Indigenous lighting practices, that's something Lighting Design Commission has since I joined Commission. I feel that the lighting design industry or the lighting design practices are not binded by or should be bounded by the one type of practices or one kind of practices, and that people around the world do design lights with their own resources and their own way of their own thinking on design. So that project is a kind of a sort of a conceived project at this moment, and we are looking for collaborators, storytellers, examples from all around the world who think that their ideas or their way of design is not what is there into the popular European or American domain of lighting design. And I'm talking about popular. The people can be, the practitioner can be from anywhere in the world. Our second project is Culture and Color. And that project is specifically about discussion. So this is going to be a discussions, paper presentation, conference mode. That is how culture perceives color and interpret color in journal, in life, and also in lighting. And that was the project which came sort of into the discussion when we were having designers on Design First series. And I know that our Chinese practitioner, they basically shared some of the wonderful lighting design practices they do, and the idea actually generates from there that how different part of the world they perceive color. And I think this could be a interesting project between Lighting Design Commission and Costume Design, subcommission and Lighting Design subcommission. The next project, and there is no sequential or sort of time frame order for these projects. These are basically project in pipeline or conceived project, is the LED and color mixing. And thank you, Ian, who actually in the Lux Helsinki come up with this wonderful presentation, what he shared. And then I had a session with Clifton Taylor from United States about LED color mixing. And the idea kind of generate from there that how the LED lighting industry is shaping the color mixing into lighting design, and what could be the future looks like with the really extremely changing LED industry. So that is that project. We haven't conceived what would be the form of the project. It could be workshops, presentations, some kind of applications, technology. So we are very open. This is just an idea for that. And then the next project is plots, sections, and paperwork. And this is specifically the idea of basically in the direction of data generation, is that how around the world in the professional theater domain, how people draft plots in the plotting, in the lighting plotting, what they consider as lighting plot, what kind of sections are available, how they make meanings, and then what are the paperwork which the professional lighting industry generate, what is their forms. And this whole project is basically sharing your own paperwork as part of the project. So lighting designers will be invited to share the paperwork, lighting plots, sections, and paperwork of their lighting design, along with their photographs and play. And I think this will help in terms of understanding how paperwork help lighting design industry, and how designers and technicians interpret those paperwork. So that is this project. The timeline of, again, all of these projects is not decided yet, but they are in pipeline for 2022. So that's it for now from the Lighting Design Commission. Thank you so much. Please have your questions. Questions, thoughts, ideas?
This isn't so much a question. I'm sorry, I should have raised my hand first.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Sorry, this isn't so much a question, but I really love the paperwork idea. I am constantly, as an artist, thinking about, I wonder how other people track this. I wonder how other people do this. I wonder how other people look at that, because sometimes paperwork for me is very personal, and I really, really love that project. And I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. And I think that's really important for us. So I would love to have someone who want to actually lead these projects. You know, as you know, all the commissions and everything in Oysted, I would say, is collaborative, and most of the time is voluntary. So please feel free to let me know if you want to lead this project. You know, I would be happy to give it to you. Yeah, but thank you.
Can I just have a word, Dinesh?
Oh, go ahead, please.
That as you mentioned this all as well, that I think speaking a little bit on behalf of the Costume Subcommission, we would also be happy to do something together with you. And there is still the memory in some of our members of joint meeting and also joint workshops from quite many years ago, 2006, and where lighting designers worked together with costume designers. I think we could look at such opportunities even more and a little bit, how can I say, have this kind of, not just interdisciplinary, but actual hands-on joint events or actions. Or so I think it's kind of responding to your suggestion as well.
And I think, Sophia, that's a wonderful idea. And I mean, I'm trying to live through the expectations of, I know there's a huge community, and I know probably lighting designers are, I don't know how busy they are, but it's difficult to get my lighting designers on board. But these two design domain, they work so much in relationship with each other that thinking those two design entities from pretty much like, you know, as one big event would be something very, very, very interesting. So, and again, you know, how the whole idea of how LED color mixing, they are changing, the color rendering. So what you as a costume designer thinking, how it's coming back onto in front of the audience, hit by it incandescent lamp or LED lamp, or, you know, various kind of LED which is out there, types of directionality, you know, and then how people perceive those colors, you know, frankly speaking, you know, for example, you know, it's that black is a color which is very popular dress in West to go wear in weddings. And black is absolutely redundant in at least in Indian culture, that you wear black. You cannot wear black in weddings. So I mean, these are the examples. You know, these are the examples that how culture perceived. So what I shared in terms of, you know, LED color culture, in my mind, they can all coincide with costume. I know that your commission is extremely active. and it will be challenged to live to your expectations, but I would love to take those challenges.
If I,
Yes, Rob, go ahead, please.
Well, I mean, what you're talking about here is really what the Performance Design Commission overall is made for. So what I would encourage anyone to do is to use that Basecamp Performance Design Commission Basecamp group to start these ideas. Because what you're, and I know Dinesh, trying to keep up with the costume design group is difficult, but if there are people who, want to contribute and want to collaborate, start a discussion in the performance design group, because that goes to everybody. It goes to all 4 subcommissions. And that's where, we had the space design group project become a wider project. So please, y'all, this is the sort of collaboration. And I actually think, somebody mentioned LEDs in the chat, that obviously that can extend to space as well. And there may be a bigger project or a bigger experimentation or whatever. So please, I encourage you guys to utilize the Performance Design Commission group, and whatever I can do, however I can facilitate it, I will do what I can.
Dinesh.
Just Mike, go ahead, please. It's great to see you, Mike.
Hi, I wanted to say that first of all. Hi, I hope you're doing well and life is good for you. Having been one of the lighting designers who worked on that project in Israel with the costume designers and lighting designers, it was a really good experience. And listening to it being talked about now, it causes me to think back to other projects that I've involved with that have been student oriented. And there's a number of things that we've created that bring students from different disciplines together. I'm thinking of the thing we do in Beijing, BIB, that the students have to design lights, costumes, scenery, decide everything within a week or 5 days. I can't remember exactly what. And really nice, Marina's there, she can speak to this too. Really nice things come out of that, both from the students' point of view, what they gain from doing this. And that's exactly what we, the non-students, did in that joint costume lighting activity with choreographers in Israel. And it was really nice. I enjoyed it. I worked with a costume designer from Egypt, I think it was. I wish I could remember her name. No, okay, somebody can help me. But that kind of thing, I mean, one of the questions always that comes up for OISTAT is, what the heck do we do? Why is it worth it for anyone to join and do on what we're doing? And I think it would be a joint commission kind of thing, where the people actually, the attendees, the OISTAT attendees actually do something that I still am focused on students and the value of working with students, that has an audience, that has a larger group, but where we get together and actually do something, without a lot of preparation necessarily. I think the Israel thing was 3 days even, or, I don't even think it was 4 days. I can't remember. But it really was quite valuable. And I can imagine that kind of thing because of what we've done with this Beijing thing, that includes sound and light and, include anything. I mean, to put people together to do something. I think that might be a good activity. I'm certainly not in a position to host or organize or want to do that. I'm enjoying my time in what I'm doing, but I mean, as I look at the faces on the screen, I would love to get together with any of you guys to do stuff. It just would be fun. And I guess that's more on a personal, what feeds me. What I was first going to say to you, Dinesh, is how are you doing? That's what I miss. I haven't done many of these Zoom things. My life seems to be abstract enough that I'm no longer working on schedule, so that, I want to do something. And then in fact, an hour goes by and I'm not doing it, didn't do it, and it's gone. Okay, hi everyone. That's just all I wanted to say. It's nice to see many of you, Tommy, Laura, that I see. Just it's nice to see you all. Good morning. Me, it's good morning. I'm awake now.
Thank you, Michael. Dinesh, probably you cannot see on your screen, but there are 3 hands up. In order, it is first Laura, then Anat, and then Sabrina. But we're also running a little bit late on schedule.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, please. I don't
want,
see hands yet.
can I, if I speak, can you hear me?
Yes, please, Laura.
Okay. I know I'm an old fogey, but when I first started with Oystat, we had a giant group called the Scenography Commission. Then we had subgroups within that, and we all tried to have meetings around the same time that the Performance Commission was meeting. That made it much easier. Now what's happened is all these splinter groups have had separate meetings. So in order to see them all, you need to go to 4 meetings a year. And if they can find any way to kind of consolidate that into one meeting, there's more chance for us all to meet face to face and talk about collaborative programs. Does that sound like what I wanted to, that's what I wanted to say. I do think it's possible. I think we have difficulty finding countries who can support all of this because it becomes a larger meeting. But it's really, really valuable for all of the designers to meet together and not just costume, just scenic, just lighting, in my mind. I really like meeting collaboratively. And I was part of the Israel thing and it was great. In fact, I organized it, so thank you.
Thank you. Anat, please, then.
Yes, I want to thank everybody. As we're running out of time, it doesn't really, I don't have something very important to say, but I do like the idea of culture and color, which is a great, great subject for, personally, I had so many clashes of culture, differences in culture, what do you call it? Conceptions about things, and it created very funny situations. So if we have something like that, I would love to talk about those situations. Thank you.
Thank you, Anat. And finally, I'm helping you out, Dinesh, because you cannot see the raised hand. Sabrina Hamilton, please. Sabrina.
Yes. Hi. One of the things that I'm running into professionally that I think maybe other people share is lighting is so intangible in many ways in terms of communication. And I'm very concerned about the way that lighting designers, that choreographers and directors are trained or not trained in terms of thinking about lighting and lighting design. And I feel like we could help the field along a lot if we could maybe have some influence over the way that choreographers and lighting and directors are trained to think about and work with and collaborate with us as lighting designers. Is anybody else interested in such a thing?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, if no one's speaking, I'll just momentarily say right on. I know my teaching of lighting design is equally a teaching of directing at the same time, staging, vision, visual, how do you look, how do people see, and what are they looking at and why, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know how to put up a hand.
Like that.
Right. Well, I think yes, I think these are really important discussions. I think what I would again and again kind of insist that please find time to revert back, and that not let these meetings be kind of one of the meeting in a year. So any ideas you do have or thoughts or comments, revert back to emails. I am also thinking of scheduling probably a 2-month meeting and kind of putting that into the calendar, but I will get back to you on that pretty soon. Thank you, Oystat. Thank you everyone who were here for today's discussion. And please do write. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dinesh. Thank you so much.